Ah, welcome traveler. Come in, take a seat and put up your feet. Today, we're diving into a game called Foundation, a medieval city building game where we will be cooking up some roleplay to enhance the gameplay. This is part 4 in our multi-part series, and if you'd like to see more of this, please like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let's get cooking. And here we are, back at Temporia. We are officially a town now, but we would like to get that up to city eventually. But in order to do that, we have quite a few things that we have to do today at least, and probably in the foreseeable future. So let's have a look at what we're getting into today. Firstly, I want to go over to the Royal Book and have a look at our trade routes. Now there is another trade route here available from Middle. The Golden Hills of Middle are home to the prettiest sunsets. Okay, well, looks like we can buy quite a few things from them, and more importantly, we can actually sell clothes and fish to them, which we really want to get into. So we're going to unlock that trade route. Then we're going to navigate over to the resource tab and just make sure that we have, let's see, fish set up to sell and clothes as well in excess of 100. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Now, something to take note of is between the previous episode and this one, I actually went ahead and upgraded this bridge over here. It was previously set all the way through to this one here, the village stone bridge. But I just went for the next tier instead, the city stone bridge, as it's more impressive and I don't want to have to upgrade it at a later stage. I'd rather just get the correct bridge down straight from the get-go. And I quite like this, it looks very nice. And it's got some nice customization options that we can dig into at a later stage. But for now, the important thing is that it gives us access through to this island where we can start clearing things away. So, on today's agenda is going to be moving our lumber and charcoal camps over to this island to start chopping away at these trees. I don't just want to come in here with the resource removal tool. I would rather actually make use of this wood than to just, chop it down and burn it up. And the other thing I want to do is have a look at actually diving a bit more into the mining industry. I would like to get tool production up and running. And in order to do that, we need to come over through to our Great Hall, or rather our Manor House. Have a look at our mandates. Alternatively, you can just click at the top here for mandates. But what we want to do is we want to prospect. So we're going to go, if you click here on this little locator, it'll jump to the specific mineral deposits. And you can say prospect. And what will happen is your bailiff will then come and inspect these little more grey nodes on the mineral deposits. So you'll see there's 3 over here. 1, 2, 3, and they'll come through and actually prospect it and see what kind of minerals are in this specific deposit here. Could be something like a normal stone deposit, or it could have iron, gold, maybe some marble, things like that. And what you want to have happen is, if you're lucky, you'll get iron and gold, and you can start then processing them, or rather digging out those minerals and then processing them into things that will actually be useful for your settlement. Now we do have another deposit over here with only 2 nodes. It's reasonably close, but I am hoping that this one will give us everything that we need for the immediate future. Now, what else are we going to be looking at while that is surveying? Well, I want to have a look at unlocking more of this territory over here, so we can actually start making use of this. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this piece, and we're going to purchase this piece, and I think let's go ahead and purchase this one as well, because eventually I do want to build another bridge going over here, leading back through to this island. But for now, I'm just happy with unlocking this, as we can come in, clear away these trees here, and then we can actually go over through to our progression book and unlock the dairy farming. So with the dairy farming, you're going to get pastures very similar to this, to our sheep pastures, and you're actually going to make use of those to, well, for cattle. And cattle will provide you with a source of milk, and milk can then be processed into, well, into cheese, which is a great resource to have. It's a luxury resource, so that's going to be very useful for our more refined people in our little settlement, and they will be quite happy with that, as it will give them access to a new kind of food. But in order to get that up and running, we will be needing to come in and chop down this forest here. So let's just go and remove those trees there for the time being. Actually, you know what? We don't actually need much further than... let's check. Round about... Just want to see... Should be around about there. We won't need much further than that, I believe. We can come in, remove that. We just need that to be cleared away, and then we can come in and place down 2 pastures for our cattle. I think even that might be, that line itself might be a little bit skew as well. Let's just check this. Yeah. Just do that. Okay. It's not a major issue, as long as we can just slowly get that up and going. Right, so I'm just going to improve or increase the speed up here to 2, just to get things trucking along a little bit. And we'll have a look at how things are going to progress. Another thing that I would want to do is, I'm a bit concerned with these buildings that are out here. They may be a bit too far from the housing itself, and we might start getting notifications saying insufficient housing for this little working district here. Yeah, you see here, no access to housing. Yeah, that's exactly what I was concerned about. So in that case, we will have to look at either moving this so that our foresters are operating somewhere else. Our foresters, berry huts and charcoal huts are actually operating in a different area. Or we might have to look at setting up a small little outpost here. I would prefer the first option as opposed to the latter, as I don't really want to set up another housing district over here. I would much rather, let's see, yes, I would think I'd much rather come through here and start chopping down trees here and setting up charcoal and stuff in this region. I think that's probably the option we will be going with. For now, let's just focus on getting these trees over here chopped down, our cattle pastures set up. Perhaps we can look at purchasing this territory here, and what we'll do is we'll set up our tree or our lumber and charcoal areas over here, clear this out as well, and we can set up some more mining operations around this little mountain. I think that might be the way to go about it. Let's have a look here. Still a ways to go. Right. While these trees are being cleared away, we're just going to go in here and we're just going to start setting up some of the basic requirements of our dairy produce industry. So we will see here that there's dairy farms and cheese makers. So we're definitely going to also be needing some granaries for this. So let's have a look. We can come in and set up the cheese farms themselves. I don't quite know how we're going to set this up. Perhaps we're going to go in a similar fashion to this, where we'll set up one over here and another one there and kind of split this land area here between the two. And then over on this side here, we can go and set up some cheese makers and granaries over on this location. I think let's do that. Let's start off with the granaries at least, and then we can look at setting up the cheese makers. So we'll come in, we'll set up a granary probably here and another one next to it, and let's just throw down one more as well. And we'll just come in and rename this. So this will be for milk, and we will probably need 2 for milk and 1 for cheese. But for the time being, we'll just have... Actually, let's just set up 2. Let's cancel this one. Let's just set up 2. That should be plenty. That should be more than enough. Then we'll come in and we'll set up a cheese maker. Let's have a look here. What will be a nice rotation on this? Perhaps something... I think that would technically be the front of the building, and then you'd have the back this way. So let's just go with that layout then. We'll set up... I think if we have 2 dairy farms, we could probably have 2 cheese makers. Should have enough of a resource production in order to keep up with the demand of raw materials. So we can go with something like that probably. That should be fine. And then we can start looking at setting up the actual dairy farms themselves. I just hope that we can get this forested area here cleared away, because I don't want to sit and wait for too long on that. Now we do have an entrance over here as well. Through this, let's just go and do that. There we can see that a little bit better. We have an entrance over there, so we can play around with that. So we'll go and we'll set up the dairy farm. Let's have a look here at the rotation. Probably something along the lines of this. We'll set up one over here. Not too close, because we don't want the circle of influence to go over into our housing area. But we'll probably set up one round about there, and we can do another one there. That should be fine. Now once this is cleared away, we'll actually go ahead and move our lumber camp, I think perhaps over here somewhere, to start clearing out this land, and then we can start moving our foresters and stuff like that over as well. But let's just go ahead here, and we're going to assign some people, just so we don't have any unemployed citizens. Should be fine. And we're just going to set this to the milk. There we go. Just get all of our resources allocated. And that should be perfectly fine. Now we just need things to clear, things to be built, and then we can start looking at actually designating for where our pastures will be. And what I might do in the time that that's going to take, I might just quickly come and just fix up this little wall here where the territory boundary used to cut us off. I might just come in and just fix this here just to square this off a bit. Right, let me jump onto that quick. Our bailiff also has completed their mandate here to come in and actually prospect this node, and as we can see, it is actually an iron deposit, which is fantastic because we can actually go right ahead and jump on setting up some iron quarries here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up 2 of these immediately, and then we also want a crane. Let's have a look. Perhaps you set the crane up a little bit over here. Just have a look. Perhaps this way around, like so. We'll set the crane up there. This just needs to be constructed. Then we can start producing raw iron, and we can have a look at actually processing that. As you can see here, producing coal. We'll then be producing iron ore at a larger amount other than the small little node that we have over here. And we can actually start working on producing tools in a large enough quantity where we don't have to trade for any. And we're also not then reliant on a tiny little trickle from this small node over here. We can actually get a fairly decent amount of tools going. And then we may actually be able to, let's just see here, we can actually sell tools to them then for quite a fair amount of gold. So that's pretty decent. Yeah, we can sell tools to them and start getting a good income coming in for our people. But we're just going to have this worked on a little bit here, constructed, get this up and running. But in the meantime, we can see that our dairy farms are ready to go. So I'm just going to go and assign some people to it, because once this has been cleared out, I actually want to have the maximum amount of people working here, so we can immediately jump in Let's just do this, and we can actually let's just set up the pastures now actually. But let's just have a proper look here at what we're actually going to be dealing with. So I think let's go something around about this size up to about there. We just remove the space around the building itself. There we go. And then we just have to keep an eye on this, and once it says that it's adequately sized, then we know what size we're actually needing to work with. Okay, so that says it's still too small. There we go, adequately sized. Okay, fantastic. Now, just for appearance's sake, I'm actually going to just go and fill in this whole space here, because I now know basically what size it needs to be. And I wanted to kind of match the sheep pastures as well. So I'm just going to come in, and we'll actually just do probably to about there. And then we'll come in and just clear that little section there. So it is still adequately sized. That's perfect. But then I can come in and paint the next one as well. And for this one, I will have to wait for the trees to be chopped down, because then I can actually move the lumber camp properly and set up this one's pastures. But this one is set up, so I can actually have a look now at coming in and doing the walls as well for this. Let's just have a look. Please, are there any? Yes, there are. Fantastic. Let's grab them. Have a little look here. Oh, great. We get a little boost to our people's happiness just from having, money. But I was hoping there would be some immigrants there, because then we can come in and set up some cheesemakers. Just a basic amount, just to get things rolling a little bit there on the cheese production, while we're waiting for this forest to be cleared away, and while we're going to be jumping in here as well, going to the common decorations, grabbing the stone fence, and we're going to come in and just put some stone fences around this, just to make it match. Because if I deactivate that, there we go. You can actually see it looks very nice with the little stone fence around your livestock areas, as opposed to, you see at the moment, we have our cattle that are essentially just grazing out in the open. It's not very safe for them. We want to put a little fence up just to keep them enclosed and to keep out any, predators or so on. Not that there are any, but, if you're setting up a settlement, you like to do things properly. Let's have a look here quickly. Yes, that's perfectly fine. We can do that. We have plenty of wood to give away, because we are obviously going to be chopping this down. Once those immigrants come in, I'll quickly set up this stone wall, and then we'll be back once this area here has been cleared, and we can actually look at setting up our second field properly. We'll be back in a bit. Our second site here has also been properly prospected and checked out, so we can see this is actually a marble deposit, which is fantastic. We are definitely going to need this in the long run, so we can also come in and immediately start setting up some proper mining activities here. And then we can go and set up another mandate to prospect this last node over here. Now, this, I believe, should still be within range of our village, so our mining operation shouldn't be getting any issues with it saying not enough housing, that kind of thing. Not quite sure why this person is leaving. Strange. We do have enough food. We have enough of, clothes and things like that. So I'm not quite sure. That might actually just be because they are working at one of these areas here. I think they were working here. Yes, they were. Okay, so that is the problem. So we will definitely be needing to move this stuff, our foresters and our gathering huts, as well as our whole charcoal production operation. We need to move that over through to this side, just where it's a little bit closer to actual housing areas. I think that this distance here is just a bit too far for them to actually be comfortable working that far from home. But I think that if we have them over here and we actually come in and we set up the charcoal industry over here, with all the foresters over here as well, then we can designate this as a charcoal area. And we should be able to, I think that distance there should still be fine for a mining operation here. And then we can also go and obviously once this is cleared up, we can shift this little lumber area slightly up to, I think these rocks should still be fine. We could probably shift this up to here and set up a lumber area over here that should hopefully still be within range of this housing district to not get any issues like we currently are with the housing insufficient. That's definitely a problem that I hope that we can address without having to actually build another district of housing. The reason for me, avoiding that is I don't want to expand too much here. I think that we expanded plenty enough already on the mainland, and if I'm going to be setting up any more housing districts, I would like to do it on this island here. I really want to start diving into getting building here. But in order to do that, there are a couple of, industries we do need to start setting up beforehand, such as our, dairy industry, the marble and iron works. Hopefully we can discover some gold and maybe get a better stone deposit to actually keep mining. Because the main thing being that on the island itself, I don't want to do a lot of farming here. I don't want to make use of this land as farmland. We will be doing a lot of the second tier productions on this, and in that sense I mean that we would get, for example, gold here somewhere, and then we would take the gold ore and we would maybe process it here, and then that would be processed into jewelry, but the jewelry production and processing would happen here on the island itself, because you would have different tiers of citizens working on the island. So you'd have your serfs here down on the mainland, and then your citizens and so forth, your higher tier, your commoners, citizens, so forth, you would have on the island itself. Now, how well that's going to work, I'm not quite sure yet, but I think it should go pretty well. And then another thing I also want to do is this little bump over here. I mean, if we go over through to the map, this little section over here on the island, I want to set up our eventual abbey over there. So if I can just navigate a bit to there, there we go. It's a better view of the island. So we can actually have a look here, you see. So I don't want to set up more housing districts. Housing district will be mainly this area here where the forest is currently. Then I would have another work district over here with some fisheries set up, so we can actually make use of all the fishing spots over here to produce enough food. Then set up an abbey over here, and perhaps have a large manor house set up in the center with smaller churches spread out. I think that that should work quite well, especially if we can get that manufacturing area, for example, for jewelry and so on, the second tier manufacturing. If we can get that set up reasonably central, so I think round about this region here, we would have it set up, then everyone should be able to reach that as a workplace. And then in addition to that, I will eventually, after having, the island populated and the abbey set up, I want to have a look at this smaller little island here, setting that up as our castle. And we can maybe look in the future at moving to a section of this island as well. But that's way off in the future. We do first want to get that island sorted out. Let's just go grab that immigrant. Let's check here. This cutting. These logging operations are going extremely slowly here, but we do have this stone wall set up for the most part. Now I haven't gone for a part between here because obviously we're going to merge two pastures, but the back is done and this is done here. I think we could probably go in and just do this little section here though. And there we go. And we just need to get this cleared away so we can come in and set that up. Perhaps what we can do while that is in, slowly happening, we could probably come in and start grabbing these buildings and moving them over to deal with this housing insufficient notification that keeps popping up. Let's just look if there's any more employable spots here. Yes, there are. Let's throw someone in there. Okay, that should be... everyone should have a job now. There are some jobs available here as well, which we will go in, just start throwing people in there as they're coming in. Let's have a look here. Let's host a berry festival. Okay, so we will need to keep our happiness above 70, or at least 275, sorry, 75 or above. Let's see. We have a 70% chance of increasing our berry yield, 30% chance of it decreasing, and then we would still need to keep up with it. I think we're going to take that chance. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Oh, fantastic. There we go. Great. So our people actually produce additional berries now, which is exactly what we want. We want some more food. And the reason for that being, we want that berry production to go up because we are actually going to come in and start moving our berries now. Let's find a nice spot where we can actually have these placed. I think there should be a gate here. Yes, there's a gate here. So we're actually going to come in and set that up, I think here. Throw that down there. And then we'll go and grab the other one as well. Bring it on over. Spin this around. Pop this down. We're just going to throw these down here so that they can actually harvest these berries over here. And we'll start looking at moving all of our stuff over. I want a forester most definitely. We may actually end up removing some of these foresters, so I think we might have too many of them, to be honest. And we'll just set them up to just see where this gate is. The gate is there. Probably set our forester up here. Once that's... let's have a look. And then our reforestation area would be... let's see. Something along the lines of this. And we'd go all the way up, I think, to about there. That should be good. And back across like so. Back across up to there. That should be fine. We can just come in, just clean up these edges a little bit. I might do this off camera. Just going to do a little bit of just a quick pass over. There we go. Should work for the most part. And then we can come in and throw down our charcoal producer over here, and they'll actually come in and slowly, you know, chop down trees from this area that we are reforesting. Let's have a look here. Yeah, see, we have a lot of foresters camps here, a lot of berry huts as well, but we're just going to move all of these over because it's just going to be a lot easier if they're right next to a housing district. Then we don't have to worry the whole time about getting that notification that says insufficient housing when, you know, we do have the space available. It's just the distance that they need to travel that's the actual problem. And we don't want that notification popping up because it's going to make us think that we actually need to expand our housing district when we don't need to. I must say I really enjoy this feature where you can just come in and move buildings instead of having to break them down and build them at a different place again. I've always found that that's a massive waste of resources, but with this it makes it a lot easier. We might have to come in and put in a little warehouse here for charcoal. Alternatively, let's have a look. We should still be fine. I mean, that warehouse is a fair distance away from it, but it should still be able to reach it. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. We'll have a look. We'll keep an eye on it, and if it is a problem, we'll set up another warehouse over here just to deal with that charcoal. Let's have a look. We should be okay. Right. So, we may come in and just grab another one of these foresters. Move them on over. Roundabouts there. We'll throw down this one here. Actually, they don't share areas. So we may actually take this charcoal, this forester, we're going to adjust them over through to this area here. And we'll grab one more. Shift them over as well. Come in, set that up there, and we're actually going to deconstruct this one completely. There we go. Right, so now, before I forget, we actually need to come in, say, paint these zones, and we need to come in and remove the previous areas, else it will be too far for them to actually do any work at. We'll come in, grab this, and just remove the previous forestry zones. There we go. And then I believe that this is just a normal cutting down area. Yeah. So we're just going to come in, get rid of all of that. There we go. Let's see. Oh, fantastic. This is also now iron. Great stuff. Come in, set up workspaces again. Set up a crane. I do like the crane. It just provides a little bit of on-site storage. As you can see here. And great. Just going to apply the changes. Now we do have quite a few people that will be unemployed, especially as we're taking in more immigrants, but we'll just come in and just assign them here to the mining operations. Once we're happy with everything being set up, we will then come in and actually put a halt on immigration, because you don't want people coming in the whole time and you're unable to provide them with a job, and then you get unhappy, settlers. It's not great. Great, we actually did pretty well on that berry fair, which is nice. We get an extra little 10 coins here for the labor influence. And we can actually have a look now. I think, yes, we can. We've cleared enough of this away that I think that we can actually come in and move this. Let's just see how much of this is actually... There we go. Grab all of that. Set it up to... Trying to think of a nice way that we can actually wrap this around this rock. I quite like this rock. I think that we should make use of it. So let's go with that. We can come in and paint this pasture. Now, we do have full workers, so we can easily monitor that at what point does it actually become perfectly sized. Still says it's still too small. Just going to adjust this a bit. Still too small. There we go. Okay, great, perfect. Very happy with that. And then we can just come in and just decorate this again. So let's just find where the wall is. Jump in, place it down, and then we just go like that. That's a little trick I figured out between this episode and the previous one, that you can actually make the corners of your fences sharp instead of rounded, which is fantastic. It really just saves on a lot of time. What I may do here is, I think we're going to put in a little gate. There we go. Something like that. Fantastic. Come in and set this up. There we go. Great. So we have our sheep pastures, we have our cattle pastures. We're then going to have a Let's just set this up right now. We need to have a wood cutting district here. They'll finish up there. And it's going to come around to, let's just round this. It's going to come around following this path. And we will paint it to include this area and this area once this is unlocked. But I don't want to cover it yet because I want them to focus on getting rid of these trees first. And then we'll come in, and with these foresters, we'll then set up a reforestry area. Get all of these trees growing again. Actually, not yet, because like I just said, we want them to just remove those trees first. They're almost done with it. I think there's one tree to go. I think that's the last one. There we go. Okay, great. Now we can come in and set up our reforestry. I think to about there. So. And then we're just going to clean this up a little bit. That should be good to go. I did notice there was a spot up here, so I just need to check which forester's little designation that is. And we can come in, grab this one as well. Set up. I think to about there should be fine. And then that will obviously go up further once we have unlocked more territory. We'll set up some more reforestry here. Come on over, check if it's this one. It's not. Okay, that means it must be this one. Let's have a look. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, any more? No, no more immigrants yet. Everybody is employed. We can come in and adjust our wood cutting areas. So we're just going to get rid of that. Like so. And I want to include this area here. And then it will eventually go off of the territory and be a huge chunk over there. Great, I'm happy with that. And we've got our charcoal makers over here. And I think that everything is set up quite well. So now we just need to have people coming in. We need to just make sure that we are, until that bug gets fixed, for the most part just staying at 2x speed. Okay, fantastic. We should stay at 2x speed because, as I mentioned last time, there's a bit of a bug with the production of wheat, where at 3x speed you're actually not getting the production that you should be, whereas 1x and 2x speed seems to be still fine. It is actually speeding it up correctly there. But right, so we have set up our farming industries. We're going to look at getting enough people to actually work through at our mining industry. We may come in and check out I think this deposit is a little bit far. So we're going to have a look at this one. Let our bailiff come in, prospect here, just check out what minerals are actually located here. Grab some immigrants, allow them to come in, and set them to work here and there. Okay, we have enough marble that's going to come in. We have enough iron that's going to come in now. So things are looking very good. And we can actually have a look at setting up, in this episode still, setting up the operations to start clearing this island. Now for this, it may be a little bit tricky in the fact that we are going to be reliant on another lumber camp. And it is going to be quite far from a housing area. So what I want to do is just set up a lumber area. So what we're going to do is set this up here. We're going to come in and we're just going to start, customizing this as much as possible to get it expanded to a maximum point before constructing it. So we're just going to go ahead, set that up like that for now. I'm not going to build it yet. It should still be available. Yes, there we go. It's still available to build. And what we're going to do is just let everything else gets set up, we may actually come in and buy this territory. There we go, fantastic. Paint this reforestation area up to, we're gonna go up all the way to there. I think there should be good. And back down. And then the same with this one. Up to there, background, back down. Right, and then wood cutting will be like so. We'll come in and obviously tidy this up a bit at a later stage, but for now at least the basic designation is out there. Let's have a look. This is producing, yes, we are producing quite a bit of charcoal. I just want to make sure where these workers are actually going. Where are they chopping? Are they chopping down over there? Because it's not designated. Or what is happening? Yeah, they're chopping over here. Okay, so we do actually need to come in and we do need to set up an area for these charcoal workers to actually operate in. So I'm going to set this up like this, like so. And we'll come in and just clean this up later. Let's do some quick clean now, and we'll do some proper cleaning later on. Now, something else I also want to do is, as this area is going to be, used for mining eventually, I do want to come in and just get rid of some trees here. I do want to clear it away a little bit so it actually looks manageable. And let's have a look. That's still in progress. We have more people, which means we can throw some more miners in here. That seems to be fine. Okay, great. Things are looking very good. Right, well, the only thing to do now is to just wait. Wait for the workers to come in. Wait for things to slowly start building up. And then we can get started on at least clearing away the island that we will eventually be building our main city on. Until then, we'll just be accepting some unemployed people. And that's about it. Nothing else to do yet until we can get to that point. Right, so to get this lumber camp to just operate a little bit quicker, we obviously still need some of its aspects to be constructed, but for the most part we have a fair amount of people working here already. As you can see, we have 8 employees. But to just get it to operate a little bit quicker, we're going to set up a very small and temporary housing area. So we're just going to come in, we're going to do this. I think that should be, let's see, I think maybe to that size. Okay, that should be big enough for them to just get enough people to live here that can work right here, as we will also be needing to pick up this lumber camp and probably move it here to the center at some point as well. So I think that it's a good idea to just get something temporary set up here for people to just work on this island. I'm actually going to have a look right now at moving this. Yeah, we can. I'm going to move it right now to the middle here, just so I can access the entire island. Let's have a look. Yeah, that should be good. Roundabouts there. Apply the changes. Now, people should be able to at least set up some temporary housing over here, and they can work right there. I do think that should be fine. Okay, we're just going to wait for more people to come in. We'll throw them into work here in the lumber camp. They'll come and they'll set up little houses over here. Let's just have a look here. Construction preview is on. So they should be setting up houses. We have the well as well that's going to be built, so they'll at least get water here. I'm a little bit worried about food for them because they don't have a market that's close by, but there is a market over here that they can try get access to. But I don't want to, set this up to too high of a standard yet, because it is just temporary housing, just enough to actually get these people to just work a little bit closer to where they live, or live a little bit closer to where they work, should I rather say. As we see, they're setting up some houses here in the forest, and they are, if I can just find it now, there we go, and they are also going to just be, I think we put this on the highest priority. They'll be setting this up and actually coming in and clearing things away properly. Right, well, while that is up and running, let's just keep an eye out. Here is some more workers coming in. There we go, we'll just accept them. And then what's also happened in the meantime is we have had this lumber camp here clear away this space, and we can actually see that we have discovered a gold deposit here as well. Now we have a stone deposit, not such a big deal. We will be needing a lot of the polished stone later on, especially with the construction of the abbey and the construction of the castle. But for now, polished stone isn't a big deal, or not such a big deal yet. But I do want to get started on this gold deposit, because I want to make use of that for the production of gold bars we can, use to sell and trade and so forth, and later on in better productions. So I'm going to look at getting this set up now. There we go. And then we also want to set up a crane reasonably close to the path, I think. Actually, I don't think it really matters because this will be creating new paths. And then we can also just go and set up the stone deposit as well. Get this out of the way. I'd rather just have it set up to be constructed now, and then we can go look at allocating workers as they come in and as need be. But I think that this is quite a nice little district here, and it's right next to this housing area, so we shouldn't be getting any more of those notifications saying housing insufficient, at least not until we start actually expanding onto this or clearing this away properly. Something I also want to have a look at, because obviously we don't have a lot of construction happening at the moment. We have this building here, yeah, sure, it's a little bit, but it's not massive. And we do have this forest that needs to be cleared away. So there's a lot of time that we're going to be sitting here not actually building and expanding. Let me just have a look here. Not reach lumber camp. Ah, it's just a little bug that occurs while you're busy moving a lumber camp. Nothing to worry about. But anyway, we're not really going to be terribly busy with many construction, projects at the moment, not until this is all cleared away. So what I want to do is come in, grab this territory and set up a little construction project, and that is another bridge. Now I think what we're going to do is have this bridge run from probably here to here. So let's have a look at how we're going to set that up. I think perhaps up to, let's just see if we can get this looking nice. Probably there, and then run it across to the roundabouts there. Let's just check. I want to keep my bridge reasonably the same on each side, so I think that should be about long enough. And then we'll go with that. There we go. We'll set up two of these, one here, one, you see. So I do actually want this to be a little bit further out, like so. There we go. So see, I want a little bit of a landing on that side, a little bit of a landing on that side before the tower's in the center. And we'll set that up to be constructed. Just so we have a construction building, some kind of project running while we are waiting for other things to happen. In the future, we will anyway need to have this bridge built. So I just want to get it done now. Get it out of the way. We will need to keep an eye on how much territory we're also unlocking, because that is going to become very expensive. As you see now, at the moment, we're already at 110 gold just for territory upkeep. It is a lot. It really is a lot to work with. So we're going to have to look at either increasing our trade so that we're able to cover that, or being very careful about which territory we are going to unlock after this island. Because this here is still 1, let's see, 2, 3, and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 areas here just for this island, and then we still want to grab this one here as well. So it's still 5 territories that we definitely want. That's a lot of gold for upkeep. Now, it's not impossible, it is completely manageable, but do we necessarily, want to take that knock before we are ready for it completely? I don't think so. But anyway, we'll just let things here get chopped down, get built, and slowly wait for things to get done. As we just go and take in immigrants, slot them into the mines, slot them into the lumber camp, and slowly progress to the point where we need to be. We'll be back in a bit. And there we go. Our second bridge is completed over here. And our lumber camp has been set up now and is fully operational. So this island should be getting cleared out as the people are working here. They have enough housing close by, a minuscule market just to supply them with the basics, and they should be able to get this done, get this cleared out, and then hopefully we can start actually building something on here. Now, the last thing we're going to look at today is jumping into the progression tab, and we're just going to grab the city fortifications. And the reason why we're doing this is because I want to actually replace these walls. So you'll see by this housing density over here, if they have heavy fortifications, we'll unlock the last level of the high density housing. And we're really going to need that if we're going to have a lot of people living outside here working on these sites, and then having additional people inside as well. And I think it'll just look a lot better having a proper stone wall as opposed to this wooden wall that we have at the moment. I mean, it is nice, but we could do so much better. So now with this unlocked, we can actually go in and grab the city wall itself. Although we will need to deconstruct this in order to replace it, because I don't believe that there's no way to just upgrade this immediately. So we will unfortunately have to come in and replace this wall manually. But that shouldn't be an issue. But that is going to take quite a bit of time, and it isn't intrinsically important to what we're trying to do to the build, so I might do that between episodes. Which should be okay, because we have unfortunately actually run out of time for today's episode. We've got quite a lot completed in that we set up our mining operations. We now have access to proper iron, marble, and gold over here as well. We've gone ahead and set up our cattle pastures. We've relocated our charcoal and lumber facilities so we can actually produce that now without worrying about housing. And we've gotten a start on actually clearing out this island as well, which is fantastic, because once this is cleared, we can build our final build on here, which is going to be really nice. I mean, we're going to have our abbey set up here, quite a large area for the abbey, maybe some vineyards, bees, so forth and so forth. We'll have our castle over there on the small island, and we'll have a nice little sprawling city over here with maybe a little fishing district and a manufacturing district here quite towards the central area, and a nice big manor house as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as that would greatly help the channel. If you would like to be kept updated as to new videos being released, then please hit that notification bell. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or requests, then please leave a comment down below and let me know. This is Roast Temp. Until next time, keep cooking.